Hello and welcome to another episode of It Came from the Page. And today I'm going to be sharing my old school April TBR and my TBW. So if you didn't see the announcement video, yes, I'm participating in Old School April. I'm one of the hosts. There's a whole bunch of reading events going on. I talked about some of them in my announcement video. Of course, Transgirl April's happening as well, and also Realm-a-thon is happening, which, by the way, I am participating in Realm-a-thon, but not for any of my friends' things. I'm betraying them all and going sci-fi, so I have an excuse to read more of my Warhammer books that I'm always reading. So there you go. Anyways, that's not what any of this video is about. This is about Old School April and what I'm going to be reading during it. So, let's start. Prompt number 1 is to read a book that's kind of got the vibe of an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode, or Goosebumps, but I'm not reading one of those. So I chose Brother Kind, which I talked about before, but also because I learned that you can double up on prompts. So I've chosen 2 books for each of the prompts. I probably won't read all of these, but it just seems cool to have myself a variety, give myself the illusion of choice. Gil's All Fright Diner, because this looks very silly and goofy, and the idea is that there's zombies, werewolves, vampires, and all take place in a small town. The end of the world is happening. It really does kind of just feel like everything that is very silly and fun about Are You Afraid of the Dark rolled up into one. So Gil's All Fright Diner sounds great, and I thought that would be good as well. Next up is the Animal Attacks book. So this one I really want to read is The Predators, which is a paperback from hell, and the entire thing, this is the plot of this book. Big-time promoter Augie Zisk sets up the biggest death battle ever between the fiercest creature in the sea, a 20-foot, 4,000-pound great white shark, and the fiercest creature on land, a 12-foot, 2,000-pound Kodiak brown bear. And it's all for a live death battle for cable TV. What? That's amazing. That sounds redonkulous. The next one is Vespers by Jeff Roven. I have been meaning to read this for quite a long time. I literally have had it on a TBR before, so I think one of my cats chose this in my cat TBR. So I never really got to this one, so I'm going to get to this one as well. Next up is some 80s books, so you can read an 80s horror books there, or any book from the 80s. So I got Berserker, which is a book about what is it about? I believe it's about a giant evil Viking comes back and just starts to destroy people. I believe it's in New York. It's in New York City. Another one in New York City is Night Train by Thomas F. Monteleone. I mean, I love this cover. It's so good. I have kind of a rattier version of this, but I just love the way this book looks, and I'm extremely excited to read that one. This is one that I've been meaning to read forever, and Berserker just sounds very fun. Next up is the prompt that is involving reading something with old school technology that's featured in it. So for this, what I decided to do is I wanted to do retrofuturism, where I'm going to read 2 science fiction books that are based off of science, but that's clearly from the 80s, right? So it's envisioning the future from the 80s, and as such, it is still very outdated. So I thought retrofuturism is a great excuse to read an Aliens book. So this is Aliens Earth Hive by Steve Perry. This is a adaptation of the comic book series of the same name. I have not read any of these Dark Horse comic book adaptation Alien books, so I had to start here. And the other one is Frankenstein, The Monster Wakes, which is a series of short stories that is all about, Frankenstein's and his monsters. So 2 things that are basically the embodiment of retrofuturism, because all the tech in Alien is very lo-fi, especially compared to sci-fis of today. And of course the same can be said about Frankenstein, because the tech in that one was real old. It was real old. And we still have not figured out how to bring back the dead. Next up is Mood Read. So my mood read, again, another Jeff Roven book, is the Mortal Kombat book. Love this step back cover. It's beautiful. Wow. Really pretty looking book. I love Mortal Kombat. I just want to live in the Mortal Kombat world for a little bit. So I'm really excited about that. This is in great condition. The next one is Blood Beast by Donna Massa. I have wanted to read this book for ages. It just keeps staring at me. Like, every time I, look at my shelf, it's there. And, oh my goodness, the cover is, falling off. No! Oh no, the cover of the book is falling off. But that's okay. I'm excited to read this book. It seems to just be like giant evil gargoyles taking people out. Is this also New York City? Sheffield. Oh, it's in Britain. Oh, even scarier. Gargoyles in Britain. Oh no, the gargoyles are taking over Britain. They'll probably do a better job. Next up is to read a YA horror book from Fear Street, or Point Horror, or a Christopher Pike book. And for this, last time I chose a book that didn't technically count. Kelsi was very kind. She's like, I will allow it to count. But I was like, nah, I actually think I have a few that are kicking around. So these are 2 Christopher Pike books. I've never read a Christopher Pike book. So first one is Bury Me Deep. That looks cool. Look at this little skeleton hands coming out. It's going to get you. And then Christopher Pike's Final Friends, Book 1, The Party. It was their last year of school. Maybe the last year of their lives. So yeah, that sounds cool. I'm down for that. Always down for life-ending things. Next up, I did have the Magic, the Teen Girl, Teen Witch, Teen Girl Squad. But Teen Witch, which is to read a book that features magic or magical elements to it. So I chose 2. One is from the 70s. This is The Return from Witch Mountain. This is a novelization of the Disney movie. I've never seen the Disney movie, but I like the way that this book looks. I feel sad that the cover has this weird tear in it, but hey, sometimes you just have to live in lives when things are broken. And also, the most wonderful thing of all, which is Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Been there, done that, which is Sabrina going back and messing with the time zones. No more time for you. Let's change the hearts of the founding fathers, because they have a lot of things wrong with them. Next up is reading a book that's set in the 90s. So I bought 2 books for this. This is my actual copy of this book from the 90s. I'm amazed this survived, because I've moved a lot. There's been a lot of moves. There's been a lot of expunging of books. I cannot believe that this copy of Godzilla vs. the Space Monster, which is this YA book, has survived for all of these years. And then also Resident Evil Caliban Cove, which is the second Resident Evil book. And for Christmas Evil Read-a-thon, I read the first one. So, hey, I want to read the next one. So, bing, bang, boom. Gonna do that. And then the last for this one, but also a whole bunch of other books that I talked about before are still eligible for this one. But I've wanted to read Carnivore. Carnivores by Penelope Banker-Krebs. So this is for the one that's written by a woman or female author. I am also going to read some books by trans women for that prompt. But I thought, hey, this looks cool. I meant to read that this month, but I ended up being like, well, it's not really dinosaurs. They're supposed to be big crockies, so I just decided not to. So I love this cover though. Look at the embossment. Ooh, carnivores, oh my, they're back to kill. That's the tagline to the movie Predator 2, when it's he's in town with a few days to kill. So now we're into the Watch-a-thon, using them eyes. So there's a whole bunch of prompts for this. I have chosen to try to, at least for today, just show you the VHS that I'm going to be watching because that seems a little relatively old school. So this one is for like a Disney Channel original, and also for someone I had a crush on back in the day, which is one of the bonus prompts. And this is the Lizzie McGuire movie, starring Hilary Duff. Oh, the Hilary Duff this movie is amazing. I absolutely love this. I own the soundtrack to this movie. Hey now, this movie is what dreams are made of. Hey now, this is what dreams are made of. This is for the 90s prompt, a movie set in the 90s, or a 90s horror movie. So this is Carnivore 2. And I love Carnivore 1. Not actually. I hate Carnivore 1. I've never seen Carnivore 2, so I'm excited to do it. Apparently this one is basically just a ripoff of Aliens. We will be talking about this tomorrow on my live stream. Be there or be a square. Another one that's very, very 90s is this Blockbuster exclusive VHS tape called Sticks and Stones. And it is an exploration of the Blair Witch legend. So this was released near the film The Blair Witch Project, and when everyone was kind of talking about how it was real. So this is one of those many fun documentaries that were like made to be like, this is the real story of the Blair Witch. There's a few of those. They're very fun. For a 1980s horror movie, I picked one that I've never actually seen, and that is Vamp. So this is one that I've been meaning to watch for a while. I have just never put it in. I know there's a much better version of this out there now. I believe Arrow Video did like a really nice transfer of that. So like maybe I'll just rent that and not watch this. But I want to see what kind of, previews are on there. So definitely going to be watching that. Then there is any movie from or set in the 80s. And for that, I'm picking Sylvester Stallone's Cobra. Because crime is a disease. Meet the cure. This is a terrible movie. Like, this is a movie where I'm fairly certain he eats pizza in a very weird way. I'm trying to remember how he eats pizza, but he has like a device to eat pizza, and it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. This movie is just a stupid action movie from the 80s, and I thought, hey, you know what? I'm gonna watch one of them. And another one that's set before 2003, so it just kind of gets in there, and this is May. May is a fantastic movie. This is directed by Lucky McKee. I love May. It's such a good movie, and it is very weird, and I cannot wait to pop this baby into the VCR and go to a new world. One of the bonus prompts is to watch a movie set in the 70s or made in the 70s, and I decided to pick out Silent Running, which is a classic sci-fi film that I have also never seen. I just love this cover. I love this little robot. I'm pretty sure this guy just works at gardening in space. Hell yeah! I love the garden, and I love the garden in space. So what are you guys going to be reading? All of the information will be in the thing below. Don't forget, tomorrow there is a live stream at 6 p.m. Eastern. Talking about dinosaurs. So be there or be square. Thank you, and have a good day. Goodbye.